What is good, Sixer Nation? It's DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live. Um, I ain't did a stream in a minute, but we here today, and there's a couple things that we're going to talk about concerning the Sixers, Paul George, Joel Embiid, the team in general. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to break everything down. So if you come in, please make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's DFJ Hoops, and also don't forget to hit the bell notification icon. But I got a few people in the comment section. Shout out to my guy Michael, who's always in the building showing love. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. He says, "What's good, bro? Long time no see. Smash the like button." Yeah. I didn't, and you know what's funny, because I didn't do a post game reaction to the Detroit Pistons game. So people was telling me that, oh, you running from the grind, or you don't want to do a live stream because the Sixers got smoked by the Pistons. And it's like, no, bro, it's just one game. We got a lot of games to go. So let's just, it's just one game. But let me just start off with, briefly talking about that game and, the Tobias Harris shenanigans and, stuff like that. So, I mean, what's new? The Sixers, they didn't play with the energy that they were supposed to play with. The Pistons outworked them, just like the Toronto Raptors outworked them. And they went after every offensive rebound. They scored all the points, and they were aggressive from start to finish, right? So you just got to give credit to Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, and all those other guys, because they came out to play. And then you had other guys that was also making shots, making tough shots. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is one of the, he's one of the, best shooters on that team. So he was making shots. He took a lot of tough shots, and he made a lot of shots as well. So I think you got to give everybody credit. And then on the other hand, you had Tobias Harris, who he started off slow, but later on he picked it up a little bit. And then finished with, I think, 18 points and 14 rebounds or something like that. But I don't agree with Sixer fans booing Tobias Harris. I mean, if you're booing Tobias Harris, then you down bad, right? Booing Tobias Harris, I mean, come on, bro. That's low level shit right there. You don't boo Tobias. I mean, come on, bro. Booing Tobias, it's like State Warriors fans in 2016 booing Harrison Barnes. It don't make any sense. Why? Because you got a better player in free agency. You got a better player. The same way the Sixers got a better upgrade from Tobias Harris. You got Paul George. Now, Paul George is older. He's not in his prime anymore, but he's still a better basketball player than Tobias Harris. But, I mean, I think one thing that Sixer fans need to give Tobias Harris is the fact that when he was playing with the Sixers, 5.5 seasons that he played with the Sixers, he played a lot of games. He showed up night in, night out. Now, yeah, the production did not match the contract that he signed for, but at least you got to give him some credit for showing up to basketball games. You got to give him credit for playing basketball games, actually, right? The first season, the 2019-2020 season, he played all the games that was available. That was a short season because of COVID, and then they ended up playing the rest of the season in the bubble. He played all those games, so I think Sixer fans should give him at least some kind of credit for that. Now, the production, yeah, we can all get on his helmet for the production, right? Scoring 0 points in Game 6 against the Knicks, we can all get on his we can all get on his helmet for that. But I mean, that's one thing I give Tobias Harris credit for. But the production, yeah, I definitely give pushback on that production. But he did good for the Pistons. I mean, like I said, 18 points and 14 rebounds. And that was another game that the 76ers struggled in mightily, right? I mean, this guy right here, I gave him a lot of love. Caleb Martin, I gave him a lot of love for his performance against the Indiana Pacers that Sunday. Right, the game was on Wednesday, so I gave him a lot of love, gave him a lot of credit. I think he finished with 17 points and 12 rebounds against the Indiana Pacers, and then he comes to this game right here against the Pistons right here, and he has a stinker. Right, it was very, very terrible for him. Finishing with 7 points, I think 5 rebounds, and going, I think he went like 2 for 10 or 2 for 11 from the field. It was terrible. It was terrible, but the Sixers all around, they've been struggling as a team. The Sixers have been struggling as a team since the season started, right? And we all know, I mean, there's no Joel Embiid, there's no Paul George, so there's going to be a lot of struggles when it comes to generating offense, and then sometimes with your defense, because Joel Embiid not only impacts the offensive side of the basketball, he also impacts the defensive side of the basketball, because if he's not playing, you got Drummond coming in, and sometimes he's in foul trouble, and then the Sixers got to go small, and then they got to do this, and then they got to do that, and it just messes up with the offensive and defensive flow of the team. So it doesn't really help the Sixers a lot. I was doing some research, I think last night, and I realized that the Sixers in most of the major statistical categories, the Sixers are bottom 5 in those categories, right? In points, they rank 26, right? They're averaging about 107 points per game. And we all know that, right? I mean, when you have Joel Embiid in there, and then when you have Paul George in there, these are two guys that are capable of averaging like what 20 plus a night. I mean, Joel Embiid on this team, I think you average about 26 or 27 points per game. I think Paul George will average 19 or 20 a game. So if you have that many points missing from the starting lineup or from the rotation in general, that's definitely going to mess with the offensive it's definitely going to mess with the offensive flow of the team, and your offense is not going to be where it's supposed to be at, right? Bottom 5 offense, you if you have a bottom 5 offense in the NBA today, you don't have a chance in competing for nothing, right? You're not going to have any chance of competing at nothing, and that's where the Sixers, that's where they find themselves at, right? Bottom 5, they rank 26 in terms of points per game. They're last in terms of assists, right? Every team in the NBA is averaging 20 plus assists, but the 76ers, right? The Sixers are only averaging about 17 or 18 assists per game. And that's very, very terrible, right? That is very, very terrible because that shows you that the ball is not moving and the Sixers are not getting easy buckets as a team. They're not doing that. And every time, if you're actually watching these games, you see Maxey, and then the defense is like draped all over him, trying to make it very, very difficult for him because they know the Sixers, apart from Tyrese Maxey, they don't have any other player that can, create their own shot consistently. So the best thing to do is to capitalize on them and force the other guys to beat you. And then, like I always say on this channel, if you got to rely on Kelly Oubre to generate any type of offense for your team, then your offense is in trouble. Your team is definitely in trouble. Shout out to my guy Mike Sports Vibes, bro. Appreciate you for stopping by. Appreciate you. I just tuned into the episode with you, DJ, and the other I forgot his name, but great stuff, bro. Great stuff like usual. I'm definitely a fan. He says Tobias. Man, you funny as hell. But yeah, Tobias definitely he walked into Philly. Started off slow, but in the third he got it going, got a lot of easy opportunities around the rim. Got a lot of easy transition opportunities, and he definitely capitalized on that. And he finished with 18 and 14. But all in all, I mean, I give like I said, I give Tobias credit for playing games, but the production, that's where I get on him. But yeah, the Sixers, they haven't been playing too good, right? And just like I said, the major stat categories, they're either bottom 5 or like they're bottom 10, right? And just like points per game, they rank 26. Assists per game, they're dead last, right? They're the 12th team in the NBA, and they're not even averaging 20 plus assists. And that's terrible because that's showing you that the ball is not moving enough. They're not getting easy opportunities. And that right there is coaching, right? You can blame coaching, you can blame the personnel on the floor, but I think a big reason why that is happening is because the Sixers are not having enough ball movement in the games. And like I said, I mean, if you watch these games, I mean, Maxey's being, they game plan for Maxey and they try to make it difficult for him. And then he'll give it up to Caleb Martin or Kelly Oubre, and then he'll try to, Kelly Oubre, when he's going downhill, he's not looking to pass to nobody. He's looking to get to the basket and score himself. He's not looking to pass. So that's not going to help the offense. So the offense has to be better. We have to capitalize in transition. We have to capitalize in the half court as well. But that's not going to happen if we don't have, two of our main guys, right? Two of our main guys is Paul George and Joel Embiid. So if you have these two guys in the lineup, it makes everything easier for everybody else. It makes it makes a lot of things easier for Maxey, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, because these guys are not supposed to be second or third options, right? These guys are rotation guys that, they if they're in the game, they play defense, they do a little bit of everything. They they get the buckets, they get out the way, right? They're not constantly generating offense. So that's not what they're supposed to do. So, and with Tyrese Maxey, he's not a first option, right? He's much more of a second, third option. So if you got to rely on Maxey to win basketball games, that's not gonna be a recipe for success because that's not what he provides, right? He's not the first option. He's not responsible for winning games, but he's definitely, his skill set can definitely complement the first option to win basketball games. So but Tyrese Maxey, I give him credit, but the season didn't really hasn't really started good for him, even though he's averaging, I think, 31 or 32 points per game. I think he ranks second or third in the league in terms of scoring or points per game, but the scoring efficiency is not really there, right? The true shooting percentage is atrocious. The effective field goal percentage is atrocious. So, but I think when Embiid and George come back, things are going to be much easier for Tyrese Maxey. He's going to get much more opportunities. He's going to get a lot of wide open looks because when you have Paul and Embiid on the floor, teams are not just going to focus solely on a Tyrese Maxey. They're going to also have to focus on Embiid and George because these guys are elite scorers, right? Embiid, one of the best scorers in my opinion. He's the best scorer in the NBA in this decade, and then Paul George, one of the best all around scorers that is in the league right now. So yeah, I'll just put it that way. Smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. We're talking about the Sixers. Another thing where the Sixers are very, very terrible at is shooting the 3-pointers, right? And that started on opening night when Milwaukee was raining all those threes. The Sixers couldn't answer back, right? And sometimes they're getting a lot of wide open looks, but they're just not converting, right? It's just not falling for them. Maxey can get some good looks, and it's just not falling for him. And most of his shots are coming up short, just hitting the front of the rim, which the last time I brought this up, does this mean that his thumb is really bothering him when he's shooting these shots? Because in the preseason he did pick up a minor injury to his thumb, but they said he was okay, so we didn't really think too much of it. But with him missing all these shots, that makes me question: is that thumb bothering him, or is just fatigue? Because some of these teams are guarding him like they're picking him up full court, and he has to do a lot just to try to get open. And sometimes when you get tired, like when you shoot those shots, when your legs get tired, those jumpers are gonna come up short. So that's one thing that also makes me question. But if that's the reason why his jumpers are coming up short, then Nick Nurse is going to have to utilize some of those guys on the bench. You're going to have to utilize a Jared McCain, who I don't know why he's not getting a consistent playing time, because he can definitely be a contributor to this team, right? Especially with these guys missing time. So I think Nick Nurse has to use some of his guys, and not playing Kyle Lowry all those minutes. That should definitely help us as well, because Kyle Lowry's not, he's older now, so you can't expect him to play all those minutes, and you can't ask him to play all those minutes and expect him to be effective all the way throughout. So I think some of those minutes have to go to Jared McCain. Now he's found ways to incorporate Eric Gordon into the in the rotations, coming off the bench, and Eric Gordon is also doing a good deal for the Sixers. I mean, yeah, the Sixers are losing, but he's coming off the bench. He's spacing out the floor, handling the ball sometimes, initiating the offense sometimes. But I just think that when you have a Jared McCain who's playing with the motor that he plays with, I think that would definitely help this Sixer team a lot. So yeah, the Sixers rank last in 3-point percentage, which is terrible, right? But when you have Paul George there and you have Embiid on the floor, most of that is gonna get taken care of, because these guys are elite on the floor. So they demand a lot of attention. So if you have a Paul George and Embiid on the floor, Caleb Martin is gonna get a lot of wide open looks. Maxey's gonna get a lot of wide open looks. And Maxey himself he's an elite shooter, right? He's an elite shooter, shooting 40% plus for 3 straight seasons. That's elite right there. Maxey has had seasons where he was third in 3-point percentage, right, behind Luke Kennard and Steph Curry. So that shows you that's elite company to be in, right? So I think if Paul George and Embiid, if they return, most of this is going to get taken care of. But the question is, when are they going to return? Because I did a video and I did say that I believe Embiid is dealing with some kind of minor issue, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes from now. But these two are ruled out from tonight's game. They're not going to play tonight. The Sixers take on the Memphis Grizzlies at home, and Embiid and George are not going to play. So, are the Sixers going to lose this one? I mean, possibly, right? Because the Memphis Grizzlies, they took care of the Milwaukee Bucks effortlessly, right? They took care of them effortlessly, and the Bucks is the same team that the Sixers struggled with on opening night. So, yeah, I think Memphis is going to beat the Sixers, but I mean, anything could happen, right? Anything could happen because sometimes I could be better than you, but I mean, you could be better than me, but I could be better than somebody who beat you. So I think that could be the situation that the Sixers could find themselves in tonight, and come out and win. But it's going to take a team effort because Ja Morant is one of the most elite guards in the game. So it might be a Ja Morant versus a Maxey game, which we'll see who wins that matchup. I mean, I think Morant wins that matchup, but the Sixers are going to have to deal with that Memphis front court, right? Zach Edey is 7'3", 7'4", and then Jaren Jackson Jr. is about 6'11", 6'10", and then Santi Aldama is 6'10". So the Sixers are going to have their hands full on the glass. So that's going to be very, very difficult on top of, Ja Morant in transition, running plays, getting to the basket, putting guys in foul trouble and, being a playmaker out of that, out of actions like that. So it's definitely going to be very, very difficult for the Sixers. So I'm favoring Memphis to win that, but hey, it could go either way. All right, now let's switch gears a little bit, man. Let's switch gears a little bit because we got some update on Joel Embiid and Paul George. Now, these two players haven't played to start the season off. They haven't played. Joel Embiid hasn't played. He hasn't played yet, right? He missed all the games in preseason, and then he hasn't played at the start of the season. Now, Paul George, on the other hand, he did play in a couple preseason games, but against Atlanta, suffered a bone bruise. So, the good news is that these two players, they did participate in practice on Friday, right? They were full participants in practice. They play 5v5. Now, that's the news that I got, right? Embiid has been practicing 5-on-5 or been doing 5-on-5 stuff in practice. So that shows you that he's progressing. And he's definitely on his way to playing. But Paul George has also, he's also been on his way playing. Now, we've seen Paul George doing some, stairs work, right? Going up and down the bleachers, trying to, strengthen that knee up so he could, deal with the rigors of playing basketball games. So I think Sixer fans need to be happy that Paul George is trending in that direction. But the only thing that could set him back is the team, right? I think the Sixers I think they're the ones that make the final decisions on whether they're going to play or not. And I think the same thing goes for Joel, because according to Joel, he wants to play. I know Embiid, right? He definitely wants to play. Hurt or not hurt, he definitely wants to get out there and play. It all comes down to if the 76ers and the medical staff are going to clear them to play. That's what it comes down to. But Embiid, wait 1 second, y'all. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. My bad. My bad. But yeah, Paul George did speak to the he spoke to the media after practice, and he said he's definitely on his way to returning. The knee feels a lot better than it did before, and I think that's definitely great news. Along with seeing him running up and down the bleachers. Now, injuries like that, it's very dependent on who the player is. Sometimes it depends on the severity, depends on the player's level of pain tolerance, and stuff like that. And injuries like that, they typically take about 2 to 6 weeks to like fully feel better, or fully for the need to be at full strength. So I just think that at this point, we just have to wait till the Sixers and to the medical staff to see whether they clear him or not. I mean, I think Paul George could play tonight, right? I believe he could definitely play tonight if he was cleared because seeing them run up and down the bleachers, I think that knee feels a lot stronger. And I mean, when he got hurt, if you actually looked at it, it didn't really seem as severe as the Sixers are trying to make it out to be because he was able to get up and walk on his own. Right at the time he got hurt, I had no idea he hyperextended that knee. Right, so I just think the Sixers have to clear him to play, and the same thing with Joel. I mean, if Joel is not hurt, like they were trying to tell us, but we did find out that he is indeed hurt. Right, because Shams Charania, if y'all didn't know or if y'all didn't hear about it, Shams Charania just came out and said that the team felt like he was dealing with some level of knee swelling in that knee, which I did say if you watch my video that I believe that Embiid is dealing with some sort of knee swelling. But it's going down according to the Sixers. They said it's going down, so um we will have to see. This is what Shams Charania said. He said during the 76ers training camp in the Bahamas, I'm told they discovered some minor swelling in his left knee. So that shows you that he was definitely dealing with something. But the Sixers didn't want to let us know because they probably didn't want the fans to panic or they didn't want the fans to buy the tickets because that's how they make their bread. So I think Embiid is definitely on his way to returning. Hopefully sometime next week, both him and George are probably going to play in games. But I just hope they're not on minutes restriction. I think Embiid will probably be on minutes restrictions, but Paul George, I don't see why you should put him on minutes restrictions, right? I don't see why you should put him on there. But Embiid with the knee thing and having to go see knee specialists, a couple times, I think he'll definitely be on minutes restrictions. Now, Embiid did come out and he went at the critics, right? The Sixers reporters, he definitely went after them, and he has some things to say. Now, let me pull that quote up of what he actually said, and let's just talk about it, and we gonna get up out of here. Um, Shout out to my guy Zay in the bag. Appreciate you for stopping by, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Baltimore in the building. Baltimore in the house. Be more in the house, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, Zay, I got a question. But I mean, it's not related to this, but I mean, I'm gonna catch you sometime on the pull up and we gonna talk about it. But Joel Embiid had some things to say about the Sixer reporters and about his critics as well. I mean, I'm one of the critics, right? You can put me in there. Yeah, you can put me in there. So Joel, like I said, he did practice with the team on Friday, and he addressed them. I mean, he spoke to the media and answered a few questions. And these reporters, they asked the questions that some of the fans want to know. And Joel Embiid, he took offense to that because he felt as though that people think he doesn't want to play basketball games. But the thing is that he's always willing to play. And, he went on to say, some of the injuries that he's had to play through, the risk of him actually playing in those games because, and yeah, it is true, right? It's true. We're not saying he's lying because I remember his first playoff game. I mean, wait, his first playoff run against the Boston Celtics back in 2018, he had an eye injury. That's why he came out with the mask, and I think that was the playoff series where he was talking about the risk of him losing his vision completely, right? So I mean, we've seen the injuries that Joel has have to play through, right? Not just Sixer fans, but fans, NBA fans have seen the injuries that he's had to play through. Torn ligaments in the thumb, a torn meniscus, not once but twice, right? In 2021 against the Hawks, he was playing on a torn meniscus, and even though he was producing at a high level, he was still playing through pain, right? That series, the series against the Miami Heat, right? That's where he had the orbital fracture because Pascal Siakam elbowed him in the face in the series prior, and then he had that torn ligament in his thumb. That's why he was wearing that thumb brace, right? That was the series that he was wearing the thumb brace. And then in 2023, LCL sprain, right, a knee sprain that he was playing through, right? And then 2024, Just this past season, he was playing through he was playing on a surgically repaired meniscus, right? He tore his meniscus in January 31st, and then underwent surgery. He wasn't supposed to return, and then he returned. So when Joel talks about he's having to play through all these injuries just to play through basketball games, I mean, I get it, right? I'm not gonna question him on that. I don't blame Joel for none of this, right? I blame the Sixers organization. That's who I'm targeting because I believe that the Sixers know that Embiid is dealing with something, but the Sixers are not trying to let the fans know about it. They're just trying to hide it from the fans. They don't want us to know about it, and I don't know why. Maybe they just want to preserve Embiid's, health issues, or maybe they just want the fans to purchase tickets. That's why they're not telling us. But my whole issue is not with Embiid. My whole issue is with the Sixers organization. And my thing is that if he's dealing with any injuries, just let us know. Just tell us whatever he's dealing with. Just let us know. Don't just come out and say that, oh, it's just an individualized plan. He's responding well. He's still ramping up. I mean, come on, bro. We're 5 games into the season. He's still ramping up. Come on, man. So if he was hurt, why would he play in the Olympics? Right? That's all we're saying. If he's hurt, why would you let him play in the Olympics? But I mean, we all know the process that went into that, right? So just like Sham Sharania said, he was told that Embiid was dealing with some minor knee swelling, and that's what I said I believed as well, because there's no way that he doesn't play in the preseason. There's no way he doesn't play to start the regular season. And then you talk about, oh, it's an individualized plan, it's load managing. Well, how can you load manage without any load? How do you load manage without any load? That's the first time I ever heard. That's the first time I ever heard something like this, right? You don't. There's no way you load manage without any load. When Kawhi Leonard load manages, he plays games to load manage. He doesn't load manage before the season starts. So I always knew that there was more to the story than the Sixers were actually telling us. But you know, like I said in my video, I was glad that the NBA they did this investigation, because this investigation gave us a little bit of insight into this whole situation. And then here comes he's dealing with knee swelling. Now the NBA they first said it was what you call it. They first said it was a left knee condition, right? They left it left knee condition, which a left knee condition could be anything, right? It literally could be anything. So I'm glad that we finally know he was dealing with some knee swelling, and I'm glad the knee swelling has gone down a little bit, and he has progress to be playing in 5v5s right now, because at first he wasn't even playing in 5v5s. Man, Zay, hey, no Diddy. Hey, Zay, no Diddy, bro. No Diddy, bro. He said load management, no load is crazy. Yeah, Zay crazy as hell. Hey, but Zay, I'm waiting for the intro song, bro. I'm waiting for the instrumental, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna hit you up on the gram so we can get that settled with. But yeah, Embiid had every right to, say whatever he said, even though he did go overboard a little bit. I've done so much for this fucking, city, and that was not necessary. But I mean, Embiid has, he has done a lot for the city, for the team. Now, I know the haters, he didn't get shot to this. He didn't get out the second round. Okay, but he tried his best. I mean, he's been injured. He tried his best. He played a lot of games, trying his best. Playing through a myriad of injuries that he talked about, and the injuries that I just went through. Right, he played through all those injuries, and he tried to give the Sixers a chance. Sometimes, it was, because he was playing through injuries, and sometimes, we were just going up against a team that was much better than us. So, I don't think we can blame Embiid on that. But giving it his all, I mean, he definitely did, right? He gave it everything, injuries, no injuries. He's playing hard through all these injuries. He's given the city of Philadelphia everything. But sometimes I just think that as fans, we just need to know what's going on with the best player. So, like I said, Embiid, you had every right to go after the reporters, go after the critics. I mean, I would say the critics, and me being one of them, you had every right to respond. But we just want to know what was going on with you. That's it. We just want to know what was going on with you. If there's a cover up somewhere, we just want the truth, right? Because it's just not fair for the fans that go to these games. It's just not fair for them to purchase these tickets and then they get to the game and Embiid is not playing, right? And the Sixers not telling them beforehand. So hopefully Embiid can return and then we'll see how that process goes. Bet, hit me up. Yeah, I got you, Zay. I got you. I'm gonna definitely hit you up. But I mean, the Clippers are looking good. I mean, they lost the last game to Phoenix, blowing a 21-point lead. That was terrible. But I think the Clippers are gonna be fine. I see the Clippers as a top 6 seed. I know, Mike. I know you disagree with me. You tune in sports, yeah, I disagree with me. But I mean, the Clippers, they definitely a top 6 seed. But but yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. The Sixers struggles, the Embiid Paul George update. Embiid responding to the critics. Um, oh, you think it was a get back? I don't think it was a get back. I mean, he did play good. He did struggle, but in the third, the Sixers totally collapsed. They totally collapsed, and then the Pistons started attacking them in transition, and then it was just easy buckets for him, right? Easy buckets for him, and then he ended up with 18 points and 14 rebounds. But I mean, like I said this, so I mean, I don't think the Sixer fans should be booing Tobias, right? If you booing Tobias, then you down bad. If you booing Tobias, you down bad because you gotta upgrade from Tobias, right? You got a much better player. I mean, even though Paul George is not he's not in his prime, but he's still at this in this point in his career, he's still better than Tobias Harris, right? Offensively and defensively. So, it's an upgrade. And just like I did, bro, I compared it to Golden State Warrior fans in 2016 booing Harrison Barnes. Like, for what? You got Kevin Durant. So it makes no sense booing Harrison Barnes because y'all was not gonna bring him back anyway, right? The same logic applies with the Sixers. Why are you booing Tobias? Because you didn't want him back anyway. The Sixers didn't want him back anyway. So it just didn't make any sense for me or to me. But yeah, Tobias also gave it everything he had. I mean, playing games, he played a lot of games. I mean, Paul George has not even stepped on the basketball court, right? So even though he's a better player, that's one thing that we're just hoping that playing basketball games because Paul George has also dealt with injuries himself. So I just think that we should next time that shouldn't even happen. And the Pistons they played hard. Pause if necessary. They played hard from start to finish. They played. They outworked the Sixers. So yeah, just give Tobias credit. Wish him the best of luck in his new adventure, right? And just move on. Just move on, point blank period. Just move on. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I haven't it's probably like the last time I did it live was like what on Monday, Tuesday, whatever that was. But I need to start. I need to do more lives. I mean, I'm gonna definitely do a post game reaction for the pit. I mean, for the Grizzlies game, right? We're definitely gonna talk about it on Sunday afternoon. We're definitely gonna talk about it, whether the Sixers win or lose. We're definitely gonna talk about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Whoever deserves blame, we're gonna blame them. Whoever deserves to get credit, we're gonna give them credit, right? So yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to my guy Michael, always in the building, showing support. Shout out to Mike Sports Vibes, and shout out to my guy Zay for showing up as well. Appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Hey, don't forget to smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button for me. The like button is free. Please smash that like button for me. If you're watching, please smack that like button for me. And yeah, go Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris over B, yeah, go Tobias, man. But with the Pistons, they're 1-5. You know, we're wishing them the. And isn't it? You know, one last thing, isn't it surprising that most of the teams that are at the bottom in the Eastern Conference, the only teams they've beaten is the Sixers. That's funny. The Pistons are 1-5. The Raptors are 1-5. Milwaukee's 1-4. And all of their victories came against the Sixers. I think that's very, very funny. I mean, Milwaukee got torched, like I said, against the Grizzlies. The Raptors, they've been getting the hell being out of them, and the Pistons as well. The Pistons took an ass whipping from the Knicks last night. So it's just funny that these three teams, their sole victories came against the Sixers, and the Sixers are ahead of them in the standings. That's funny to me. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.